So you can see now we also have another one called console, one of these sort of tag things we can use, registered underscore UI, or way to basically register a method to something that could be called. And here it just prints the methods to the console. So really simple. So it should just say hello, whatever, your name, basically in the application. And I remember you can change the languages, of course, in the run application. So let's say French. If I wanted to, I can change to French by typing FR, and that's another way to do it. So that's just an example of how you do all that. So let's go back to the main again to look at what's actually happening. So as I mentioned before, you're parsing and adding options such as UI and language. That allows us to basically tell Python to begin to interpret the second and third lines. The first line is the actual message, which is mark in this case. It's going to then interpret the interface that's going to be used as well as language. So those are options that are added, if you recall, to the run configurations. So user interface and language, line 2 and 3, and those options are added, and then that basically those arguments are going to be parsed, and then based on that, it's going to tell it to do the greeting. And the greeting is under the hello Python module. So you can see that the main is calling this hello module. So it's referenced up here. Or rather it's in frame and import hello, so that's coming from here. And basically that's going to tell it to take the parsed information and then try that information into the greet method in under hello. So if we go ahead and go look at the greet method, we're going to see that here what's going on is that it's going to try different languages, EN, so English, Espanol, ES, Francés, so French, and Portuguese. So it should have those kind of 4 ways to do the languages, and the actual method will then do the greet, as I mentioned, application. So again, we go back to main, greet under hello is over here. And you can see in this case, it's going to always apply the message, specific message method that's being called. So the message method's over here, and then it's getting the user interface, UIS. The UIS is being registered over here. So those registrations that we do, those tags, those @ symbols that you saw in the other modules, they're all going to be created and registered here in that method. So that's why you see what's going on from before. They're all being these are all basically being registered, dynamically loaded into Python. They're being then added to this container, to this library, or to this dictionary, I should say. And the message is then going to be sent to that. And of course, if there's an error with particular user interface referenced in the program argument that's actually not there in the module, then you'll get an error raised here. So all this is doing is basically adding up here the actual interfaces we'll be using and then calling them in the UIS. So the only thing that's actually Java that's going on are the actual methods, whether we're talking about speech, using the voice commands, or particularly the window one where you can see a lot of Java in that one, the frames and the text and all that. These are all Java applications using the library. So some of the Python is a little different than we would normally apply, and I don't think it's that critical for you to know for this week and going forward. But I think the key thing to learn out of this is that using Jython is relatively straightforward. You just have to use the Jython run application that allows you to run the relevant Java and Python libraries together. You load the libraries that you need into your project, so that way you can reference them, and then apply them as needed. And the rest is basically applying what you would in Java, but within Python. And so within Java, I would have to indicate the interfaces I would need as well as the language, and I'm basically doing the same thing here. The actual inputs and commands and data that you might send are really all in Python, effectively. Whether it's the name, the hello, all these kinds of texts, for instance, these greetings, these are all done in a Python kind of way. Dictionary being created with greetings, having different texts in different languages, for instance. So that's all being done in a very sort of Python way. But they're going to be applied using effectively a Java kind of input. So it's going to translate for us the Python inputs into Java equivalents, and then it allows the Java to work. So a very simple way. I think, to use Java in Python.